One of the things we have to understand, to put the perspective of what was happening, we were operating a laser that was not really developed and designed for a lunar attempt like we were going to try here. It was mostly a very high-powered scientific laser involved in plasma fusion research and some weapons system studies we were looking at. When we were asked to bring that laser here, of course, our first concern was, would we damage the Lick Observatory reflector? So of course, that brought up a lot of discussion about how can we be sure we're safe enough. Well, we were. I don't think it was reported that we damaged the reflector. But, okay. I think someone mentioned that there was a story that a fly was sitting on the reflector when the beam went by, and he got, of course, frosted. But we're not sure that that's really, we're not sure that's the truth.
Well, it was a bug.
That was a bug then. But when you're firing a GigaWatt laser, every shot is called hold your breath. Yeah. And of course, that was a very, yeah. And the temporal, because of the temporal characteristic of a high-powered laser and the optical surface that we're having the light beam go through, are very sensitive also to dust and other things that can come along. Now, one of the things that was extremely important to us in the search, because again, the Lick Observatory mission was to find the reflector. We didn't know where it was, except on the moon, somewhere in the Sea of Tranquility, maybe about right there where the telescope said it probably would be. So we were firing through the telescope to that location. Of course, nothing came back initially, so we had to think about that for a while. That led to the other story we heard earlier about the distance between the site below and the site up here, and those things had to do with the location of Lick Observatory. Now, that wasn't my role, so I stayed out of that, but my ear was to the wall. But the bottom line was this. That type of a laser is very sensitive. The optical components are very doable at what we call scientific operation, but when you put to a test of operating over serious hours of time, I had a lot of trouble trying to maintain it. But I won't go into those details about it, but you can just imagine a laser operating at a gigawatt with putting out trillions of photons to the surface in a spot maybe a couple of kilometers wide up there, and we're only looking for 3 to 5 to come back. We were working hard to put as many up there as we possibly could.
3 to 5 photons.
Yes. Okay. So that's kind of a general idea of what we were doing. Yeah.
Firing a slingshot to the moon and getting it back in your hand.
Maybe I just thought I always think it is at the end. One of the things we found once we started operating is that we were across from the flight path into San Francisco and San Jose. Uh-oh, wait a minute. You guys have found a 1 gigawatt laser across the flight path? Who's doing that? Well, wait a minute, not me. Okay. So anyway, we were shut down. People came and called us over. Yeah, we were shut down. Shut the operations down until you can. FAA shut us down. Yeah. So we brought a trailer up here. Had a trailer brought here with a radar receiver on it from the National Guard, and of course we had to give them then control over the laser, because again, once they scanned the area and there was no aircraft coming through, they would switch it on. But if there was, they switched it off, and it stayed off most of the time. And we were saying, there can't be that many airplanes going by here. What's going on? So a couple of us got a pair of binoculars and went out, and when this guy wasn't doing anything, we started looking all around. We couldn't see an airplane, so I went in and talked to him. Years ago, I worked in the ballistic missile early warning system up in the northern frontiers. So I went in and tried to talk to this guy and say, hey, look, maybe you're having a trouble with what's called ground clutter here or something, which gives you false images. True enough, I think he didn't allow me to operate his radar, where I brought some of the gates back in a little closer, so we weren't getting returns from across the valley over there, which allowed us to now start to operate again. But we had little troubles like that.